If you're feeling stuck in life, stuck in your health, stuck in your relationships, whatever that might be for you, it really comes down to this one simple thing. I've said this many times. It's your thoughts. If you've been trying to do the workouts, if you've been trying to follow the meal plan, if you've been trying to get better at jiu-jitsu, if you've been trying to get better at whatever it is that you're trying to get better at, but yet, like, man, I keep running into a wall. I don't know why I'm not getting better. I don't know why I can't overcome this. It's your thoughts. It is the beliefs that you have about yourself. And it's ultimately our thoughts, which leads to our words, right? It's out of the truth of a man's heart, his mouth speaks, right? And we see this like all over the scripture. We see this all over the Bible. I was going through the readings today, and Proverbs 12:13 says, in the sin of his lips, the evil man is ensnared. So just by our own exact words, we can speak specific results into our life, right? We see this with, law of attraction. We see this, if you've ever read Think and Grow Rich, a lot of it's around that law of attraction. It's our very words that enslave us, okay? And it's all stems from our thoughts, right? Our brain is always collecting information at all times. Our brain always seeks to keep us safe, to keep us alive, and to seek pleasure and avoid pain. So it's always gathering this information. And then based on the information that it gathers, we begin to tell ourselves a story based on that information. We begin to tell ourselves and give our thoughts specific meanings that aren't always based in reality. So you have, I was reading a book called You're Not Your Brain, and it was written by a neuroscientist, and they distinguish the difference between emotions and then emotional sensations. Emotions are based in reality, right? So let's say you and I we're driving together, and then we get in a car accident, and you get pissed, you get enraged, you get angry. You should feel those emotions because that is based in reality. That is happening right now. But let's say someone says something about you, or you begin to have these thoughts about yourself, and you get that same anger, that same rage happens. You have an experience, and then based on that experience, you begin to have that same emotional sensation, but it is not necessarily true, right? So let's say you get angry, like, oh man, like I'm a piece of crap, or I'm this, or I'm that, which is the devil really, because he's the great accuser. But like, I'm this, I'm that, I'm such a loser. Like you're getting these emotional sensations, but in reality, that's not true. You're really not a loser. You're really not any of these things that you're saying that you are. But it all starts with our thoughts. It's so interesting. And then in the book of wisdom today, this was Wisdom chapter 3, verse 10. It says, the wicked shall receive punishment to match their thoughts. Crazy. Reaping and sowing. We're going to receive punishment based on our actual thoughts. We even see this in 1 Peter where he says, gird the loins of your mind. Therefore, gird up the loins of your mind, live soberly, and set your hopes completely on the grace to be brought to you at the revelation of Jesus Christ. We see St. Paul say this in the Romans, his letter to the Romans. Do not conform yourself to this age, but be transformed by the renewal of your mind, that you may discern what is the will of God, what is good, and what is pleasing, and what is perfect. So we see this all over Scripture. We see this everywhere. It's our mind. It's our thoughts, right? Our thoughts lead to our results. Brian Tracy, one of my favorite authors, talks about this concept of, it's one of the laws of the universe, is learned helplessness. Learned helplessness. We learn this as kids, as people, that we're helpless. Oh, I can't do this. We say this a lot, like, oh, I can't do this. I can't lift this amount of weight, or no matter what I try, I can't stay consistent with my eating habits. Like, we begin this learned helplessness. And the more that we continue to say that, it transmutes itself into physical reality. Okay. In the book, You Are Not Your Brain, they talk about Hebb's Law. Hebb's Law states what fires together, wires together. Think of it from a strength training perspective. Whenever we pre-tense specific muscle groups, right? If I squeeze my glutes before I get ready to do a press, I begin, the muscles that have to connect to make that happen begin to wire together. And the more that I focus, this is what they call the quantum Zeno effect, the more that I focus on contracting my glutes, the more that I focus on contracting my lats before I press, as an example, it keeps those brain circuits activated long enough to continue to wire all the muscles together that need to happen. And then eventually, when you continue to focus on that, which is what in the Strong First system we call dominata, the dominant thought, when we continue to focus on that, it creates an entirely new brain circuit. This is how habits are created. If all we can think about is what we're giving up, the alcohol, the food, like whatever that is, all we do is continue to focus on that. We're never going to break that habit, right? We have to focus on what we're going to gain. Quantum Zeno effect is the power of your focus, okay? So what thoughts are you having? And what are you continuing to focus on? Are you continue to focus on those negative things, the things that you can't do? Or are you going to shift that focus on the things that you can do? So if you want to see better results in your body, you want to see better results in jiu-jitsu, you want to see better results in your relationship, your marriage, the relationships that you have with your kids, gird the loins of your mind. Be very cautious. You can't stop the thoughts that are coming into your mind, because that's what your brain does 24/7. You can't stop those thoughts. But what you can do is you can choose and decide the meaning that you're giving those thoughts. And based on the meaning that you give those thoughts, you're going to have a very specific pattern, habitual pattern of actions, right? So let's say, oh, I'm a loser, I can't stay consistent to my eating habits. That's the thought, that's the meaning. Oh, screw it, I'm just gonna eat whatever and start over on Monday. And then you create a pattern. That's how habits are created. Or you say, okay, I had this moment, I fell, this happened, whatever. That is what it is. Doesn't mean anything about me. Doesn't mean I can't do this. Doesn't mean anything. It happened. But I'm going to go do this instead. I'm going to still go get my workout in. I'm still going to go to jiu-jitsu. I'm still going to do whatever positive action that I had intended to do, I'm going to do that thing. If we succumb to our thoughts, we don't gird the loins of our mind, we'll continue to stay stuck in that vicious cycle. So if you want to see better results, be cautious of the meaning that you're giving to your thoughts. If this video helped you out, be sure to subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications for more Busy Dad strength tips. And as always, to learn more about building a stronger and more capable body in less time so you can have more time to do what you enjoy, click the link in the description area and download your free 4-week strength program.